Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat and be sure it says to everyone and not just host and panelist. Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Live on YouTube. Yay for Team Replay. Good, Desiree. I love the energy. Sarah, what a day. Welcome. You've made it. If you want to take a deep breath in, let's all do one collectively and exhale. You guys are here. Welcome back to day 2, Asako. Awesome. You're stoked for day 2, says Evs. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna let people come and find us. I want to just kick off by asking where you're located. By the way, if you guys are not yet connecting with each other, feel free to pop in your LinkedIn URL. Maybe share like who you want to get connected to, what kind of people are your people. I want you to make friends during this week. And I say friends because that's what relationships are, right? We don't give people jobs, we think of our friends to get them jobs. So just really want you to get to know one another, connect with each other. Again, we have a private Facebook group that's activated in case you want to drop in your URL there, introduce yourself. This is all going to be just a playground of getting to know one another, getting comfortable with sharing what you're looking for. The more you declare it, the better. I truly believe that we can speak things into existence. We need action too and strategy, but just even declaring it is so powerful. So awesome. Welcome, everyone. Oh, thank you, July. Snowy Florida. Oh, that's interesting. Seattle. Ooh, we have South Africa in the house. Thank you, Lisa. Amazing. I love seeing when we're global. Toronto, says Gabriel. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's get started. Let me share my screen really quick. And I just want to do a quick recap of where we are. So yesterday was day 1. We talked about career clarity, making sure we have the foundation of where we are going and who we are so that we can, day 2, this is be the marketer of your career, start to own it and start to share what we are here to do and offer to the world. So we're going to be talking about personal branding. Tomorrow is day 3, same time, same place. We're going to be doing our masterclass where we're going to get into the how to stand out, how to get visible, the job search tactics and strategies. So I think a lot of you are going to be really excited about that. And then day 4, I'm going to just invite you back here to raise your hand. Let me know what your challenges are so I can do my favorite thing, which is coaching you. And whatever you share is going to help so many people because one of my favorite sayings is what is personal is also universal. So we're going to do that. Let's not raise our hand now. Thursday for sure. I love that you're so eager. And at any time, if you are behind, you're like, what is the link? What is the URL? There is a very helpful directory, cultivateyourcareer.com/directory that you can bookmark and be able to find all the replays. Anything you need to know about this bootcamp will be in there. Awesome. So let's see where we're at. And thank you guys, by the way, for blowing up the chat. I saw yesterday we had so many participants, and your guys' energy really allows me to show up and just be excited with you. And I feel like job searching is so much more fun in a group. So it's awesome to see that you're not alone and I always say you're one connection away. So there's potential connections in here that you guys can leverage and help one another with. All right, well, let's dig in. And to kick us off, allow me to share one of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons because we are going to dive into marketing. So let me just do my whole DJ thing, switch so many windows on my screen. I'm going to play this for you guys. It's a quick minute episode. Maybe you guys have seen it before, but I think it really talks about marketing beautifully. So here we go. Okay.
Marge, I had a lot of calls about you. Customers love your no-pressure approach.
Well, like we say, the right house for the right person.
Listen, it's time I let you in on a little secret, Marge. The right house is the house that's for sale. The right person is anyone.
But all I did was tell the truth.
Of course you did, but there's the truth and the truth. Let me show you.
It's awfully small.
I'd say it's awfully cozy,
That's dilapidated.
rustic,
That house is on fire.
motivated seller.
That's a beauty.
Forget about that house. That's the murder house.
Okay, so have you guys seen that one before? I'm so curious. And did you guys catch what Lionel says? He says, there's the truth, and then there's the truth. Okay, so I love that episode. And to me, when we're talking about marketing ourselves, especially positioning ourselves, I want you to really take that to note. And this isn't about just being disingenuous. This doesn't mean about lying. But something that we need to know is there's always a way to position our truth. And when we're talking about job searching, it's really important that we know how to play the rules of the game in job searching. So let me give you an example. Maybe you have an employer who asks you, why are you looking to leave? And your true answer is, oh my God, I hate my boss. I'm in a toxic workplace. I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Right? But we would never badmouth another person in the interview room. So we could say, you know, I was super excited about this opportunity when it popped up, as I've been following this company for 3 years now, and I would love an opportunity to create efficient workflows so that the company can reach more customers. Do you see what I did there? So marketing yourself can sometimes feel like a challenge because we've done so much throughout our lives and our careers, right? Sometimes it feels really difficult to package it into 1 to 3 sentences, especially when we're talking about our resume and our LinkedIn profile. Type in extra into the chat if you can resonate with this. Like, it just feels like I do so much. I have so much experience since graduating from college. What am I supposed to highlight? So beautiful. Lots of extras flooding the chat. Okay, so while you're amazing and you have a long list of achievements and experience and workplaces and skills and awards, what we want to do is only spotlight what the employer, what the decision maker cares about. Okay, so it's on you and I as job seekers to be able to, one, identify what does my employer really care about? What are they assessing me for? And two, be able to align it to a concise statement. Because if it's too long and you're rambling, you've lost them, right? And this takes us a moment to really reflect and get clear. What are they really looking for? What do they really want? And two, how do I align myself to that? Once you can unlock this in your job search becomes so much easier, okay? Where job seekers get stuck is they often focus on all the various tasks and responsibilities. They end up saying things like, I can do this and this and this and that, and they target too many things at once. They end up confusing themselves as much as they're confusing others. And they're kind of throwing spaghetti to the wall, hoping that one noodle finally sticks, right? So if you are having a lot of different versions of your resume floating around, or you're overstuffing your LinkedIn profile headline with, like, I'm a project manager and a real estate investor and a financial analyst and a mom and a relationship builder and a coder. And oh, yeah, I'm fluent in Spanish. Oh, and I'm also a strategic visionary and I'm open to work. I joke, like I see some of those on LinkedIn, but it's like when you're trying to speak to everyone, no one is hearing you. Nobody is listening. So what we need to do is focus on what does the employer want? And again, this goes back to being the architect of your career and getting career clarity, narrowing in on what do they want and then how do I align myself to that so that when I am sharing, whether it's on a resume, on a LinkedIn profile, in an interview, they get it. They hear me. I'm loud and clear and concise. And I think a lot of people worry that they're closing off opportunities, but just trusting, like when they get to meet me, they're going to understand I do this and potentially be able to align me and connect me to where else I could fit into the organization. Employers will be able to assess and they'll be able to find, we don't have this exact opening, but would you be interested in this? Or can you do this? Do you have this knowledge and skill set? So let people target and redirect you once you are targeted on, okay, this is what I'm doubling down on. This is where I'm going to allow my zone of genius to shine. And this is how I'm packaging myself. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. But I think one thing that I've noticed with job seekers is that they get fixated on analyzing all the various tasks and responsibilities in a job description. And they start to overanalyze whether or not they should bother applying. So type in overanalyze if you know this is you. Maybe you're looking at line by line, looking at all the qualifications. A lot of job seekers go into their job search with the mindset of thinking, like, you could let me know if you type in a 1 if you've ever had thoughts like, I can't land a job because employers are looking for someone who has all the qualifications in this market. Okay, lots of overanalyzing ones. Type in a 2 for me if you've ever thought or said, no one will hire me because I don't have the industry experience. Making an industry switch is so difficult. Okay, lots of 2s coming through. Type in a 3 if you've ever said, I'm less marketable because I have a gap on my resume or I'm unemployed. So many people that I talk to, for whatever reason, think that being unemployed makes them less marketable. Okay, great. Awesome. 1 to 3, says Michelle. No worries. Totally understandable. By the way, I've heard this all the time from job seekers. And I just want to state, if this were all true, it would mean that everyone would stay in one industry and never move on from that company or that industry or that role. And that's just not reality, right? People are making career switches all the time. You can look at somebody's LinkedIn profile and take a look at where they came from. Wow, I work at Disney right now, but before that, they were working at Wells Fargo. Industry switch, right? If it's possible for them, perhaps it's possible for me as well. And if it were true that you were less marketable because you've been unemployed or have an employment gap, it would mean that nobody who ever got laid off or has an employment gap would ever get hired again. And that's just not true either. And then actually now it's beautiful because so many people have been impacted by mass layoffs and or they know someone that has been impacted by mass layoffs. People are just so much more empathetic to the situation. They're like, I want to pay it forward. I've been in your shoes, or I know someone in your shoes. And I just really want to make sure that you're able to get the job that you want. So where do people get this belief then? Well, to me, I believe it comes from getting that cookie cutter response from the applicant tracking systems where recruiters send an email that says, thanks for applying, but we went with a more qualified candidate, right? So many of you read this and you take it to heart. You're like, 100% fact. Yep. And yes, it can be true that somebody more qualified got the job. But I also want to tell you from a recruiter's lens, there's also plenty of times where this automated email got sent to you, not because you didn't have the credentials or that you weren't qualified or that you didn't have the potential or you couldn't do the job. Sometimes it's as true as someone else got the job because their nephew needed a job. It could be that they hired someone internally. It could be that the requisition closed and or got canceled, and they just sent this to every single candidate in the pool. So I want to underscore this because I've seen so many job seekers take rejections to mean that they're not qualified enough, or that they're not good enough to get certain jobs. They really take it to heart. And I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it over and over. Recruiting is subjective. There's luck involved in your job search, and luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? That's the definition of luck. When preparation meets opportunity. So, what does that mean? Well, we can't control the opportunity. We can't control the who is going to get me a job, the when, the where. All of that is unknown. The who, what, when, where. What we can control is what do we want and why do we want it? We can control the what and the why. We can also control how well we position ourselves and make ourselves visible. Type in luck into the chat if this makes sense so far. What else can we control? We can control how well we answer the question, do you have the potential to do this job? Do you have the potential to do this job? Okay, potential does not mean you are the best or you've done it all. We have all seen less qualified candidates get the job. Okay, yesterday we talked about the personality hire. So an employer is trying to get an overall feel of your potential. Your potential is your overall alignment. And honestly, as a recruiter, I can tell you, most hiring managers do not know what they want. That job description you see is copied and pasted, it's rinsed and recycled, or it's written by ChatGPT. Okay. Sure, an employer has an idea of what position they're filling, what skills they would like to look for. But until they actually start speaking to a candidate, they just have an idea. It's not until they go into these interviews and they meet David or Sako or Desiree, and they're like, you know, actually, Desiree can do this job. I really like her personality. I like her cultural. I can see she'll be a cultural fit. I like her excitement and enthusiasm and interest that she's connecting me with. I like her overall background, and she's right. I can see how her experience in this different industry or this different role or her background can benefit us and give us a fresh perspective. I feel positive about this hiring decision. Like, that's truthfully how hiring manager conversations go behind the doors. And again, it's because hiring is subjective. As much as they're trying to create tools to make it as objective as possible, with a human on the other end, it is subjective. So when we talk about communication, it's really about how you make another person feel, right? Your personal brand is about how you make another person feel. So how do you make another person feel positive and confident about you? Well, your personal brand is the effort to be able to communicate and present your value to the world. It's what's being communicated, and everything is always communicating. So your resume, your email on your resume, your your email address on your resume, and your email, your profile photo, your voicemail message, your formatting, your tone of voice, your punctuality, your smile, all of that is communicating. right? We're all getting a sense of who you are through every single interaction, whether or not you're communicating with us face to face or on the phone, everything is communicating. So I want to check in really quick. Let's pretend you're hiring a resume writer and you noticed a typo or two on their website. Would you hire them? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Okay. I'm saying, nah. Yeah. So why? Why would you not hire them? I see a lot of depends. I'm curious about that too. Attention to detail, says Desiree. Yeah. Yeah. And what's really interesting is there's so much of attention to detail in job descriptions, isn't there? So everything is communicating. They don't look competent, says Beverly. Lack of credibility. Yeah, we are making snap judgments and assessments just based on impressions. Beautiful. So I want to do a quick quiz for you, a fun little quiz. There's no right or wrong, but I just want to see what comes up for you guys as we look at these. And I know you can't read all the small details. That's okay. They say on average a resume gets 6 seconds before a recruiter decides whether or not they want to read further. So let's just look at the formatting. Let's imagine these are both graphic designer resumes I pulled off the internet. Let me know in the chat, A or B, just from the initial looks of it for graphic designer. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I see some A's. Awesome, Jennifer. Nice to see you. Thank you. I'll be with you in a moment. A's for graphic designer. Yeah. So interesting. I see A and B. I see B. I see A. So beautiful. Let's do another one really quick. This is a paralegal. Both of these are paralegal resumes. A or B? Okay. So interesting. I see A's and B. Easy on the eyes. Beautiful. Okay. So you can see recruiting, very subjective. By the way, let's set something straight here. Both of these resumes, all of these resumes, all four, work in the applicant tracking system. So I want to make sure that you get this because there's so much misinformation and conflicting advice, like do this, don't do this, that's floating around the internet. And I want to just make sure you guys understand if truly a ATS could not read graphics or columns or colors, they would say that specifically in the instructions, okay? The truth of the matter is all of these are being read and all of them work. It just depends on the hiring manager and what stands out to them, right? So if we go back to, let me just share this really quick again. This resume A on the left-hand side, oh my God, like so much dense paragraphs, like my eyes glaze over. I don't want to read that. You know, another person might be like, okay, I'm going to take my time and try to assess. A recruiter might be like, no, this person doesn't understand US hiring laws, and this is for a paralegal. Like in the US, we don't put profile photos on our resumes, not like Europe or Asia. And so, like, if they don't know this, are they going to be able to follow certain laws and research and, know best practices? There could be some snap judgments there. Somebody from a graphic design background may be like, wow, I really love this formatting on side A, and she really understands visual illustration. She's really walking her talk. Walking her talk. So let's bring her in. But truthfully, the most important thing on your resume is the context. Does this line serve a purpose? Is this relevant to the decision maker? Or are they confused about your background? A lot of people don't have a profile summary. They just have their experience and skills. And They're trying to make their recruiter connect the dots, and they're trying to make the recruiter figure out, where does this person belong? What is their summary? That's our job, you and I, as job seekers, to do that, especially if we're pivoting, right? And so the most important thing to nail down is the context. What do I want the employer to know? There's not one cookie cutter approach to resumes. You're going to get, if you ask a dozen recruiters and hiring managers, what do you think about my resume? You're going to get a dozen different answers and feedback. So I don't want you to obsess over your resume as much as being able to just answer this question for yourself. Did I demonstrate my background aligns with the role and the company's needs? Again, this just goes back to understanding deeply, what is the role that I am fulfilling? What is most important to them? I know those things. I can then craft and tailor my resume to fit that. And whether it is pretty or not is not the important thing. The most important thing is, in 6 seconds, when I glance at this, am I curious enough to learn more about this person? Am I curious enough to invest more time to get a sense of their overall background? Okay, so tomorrow we're going to dive into more of the personal branding and networking side of things, but I want to just take a pause and check out your guys' chat here and make sure that we're all on the same page. I've been told the same thing about the ATS system not being able to read specific resumes, says Michelle. Yeah, that is this like fear-mongering statement floating around on the internet. Truly, as long as you follow the directions, if it's a Word doc, a PDF, it doesn't matter. They will be able to download it on the applicant tracking system. It's just a big organizer database. We literally open up each file and review it. And then as it says, 6-second rule is crazy. Yeah, it's not so much like it's really like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it's a glance. It's like, okay, I'm looking for a project manager. Does this speak project manager to me? Okay, cool. They've written their profile summary that's tailored to project management. Okay, I see they have some relevant skills that we're asking for. Okay, the titles of the positions is kind of where we go next. And if we can't understand like the titles and how it relates, those bullet points better be speaking to those transferable skill sets. That's kind of how the overall glance works. And then it's like, okay, I like this person's overall background. Let me read further. But we can tell like this. And that's why typos, formatting, like again, right now, there's so much competition in these applicant pools. I don't want to say like need to obsess over your resume, but be sure that you are putting your best foot forward. Because again, everything is speaking, right? Okay, so let me see here. I want to take a pause. When we come back from this fun little intermission, I want to talk about LinkedIn, and we're going to go into our growth assignment and make sure your guys' LinkedIn headlines have a formula to them, and we'll spin the wheel. But first, I would love to invite my Happily Hired Formula client. I guess now she's an alumni because I just saw like the most recent person who said, I got the job this month. I asked Jennifer if she would be willing to come on and share her story with you guys. Because I know a lot of you are feeling a little bit disheartened, discouraged with the job market, but I love having proof that something is possible. Because if it's possible for one person, it's possible for all. And yeah, I'd just love to introduce you to Jennifer. And thank you guys, or thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here. Jennifer, can you raise your virtual hand so I can add you as a panelist? Woohoo, awesome. And everyone give a warm welcome. I love your guys' energy. Show her your energy to Jennifer Smith. Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer. Jennifer made a pivot from supervisor of talent ops in the telecom industry to becoming a director of operations for a nonprofit. So you are walking proof that you can make a role change and a industry change. Welcome, Jennifer. You're muted. I feel like everyone does this on Zoom.
I was ready to go and then I wasn't. All right. Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Thanks, Emily.
Oh my God, thank you for being here and especially on video. I know that's like kind of frightening for some people. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I was virtual for about 4.5 years, so it's very normal for me.
Oh, I love the confidence. You're getting so much love in the chat. Okay, so I would love to dig in because, again, I said a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed with their job search process. Can you take us back to your job searching days and what you were feeling when you realized I need to look for a new job?
Sure, yes. So like Emily said, I was in the telecom industry and like many technology related organizations, they were doing layoffs in the end of 2023. So I was in a department that was impacted and so lost my position at the end of the year in 2023. But I actually had already been ready to start looking for a job. I was ready to shift to something a little bit smaller. Loved the organization that I was with and learned a ton, but was ready to move back towards a smaller organization that had a little more hands-on opportunities. I was in an operational space at that point and wanted to keep kind of that sphere of job focus and area of expertise. And so was looking to start to pivot towards an operational role in a leadership level at a nonprofit. So had started to work on that on my own, but then of course losing your job then prompted that much more quickly. And so was in a season of job searching for about 8.5 months, which was longer than I knew it was going to take a bit because I was pivoting pretty hard, but was a little bit longer than I was anticipating. So I just want to say to all of you that are in the season, it is not easy, I know, but it does end eventually. So it will come if it hasn't yet.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I may be jumping the gun, but now that you got your offer letter, like how did you feel in that moment?
Yeah, it's a huge relief for
Mhm.
sure. It just, it's one of those things where you get an offer, but until it's signed and across the finish line, it's still like, okay, is it there? Is it there? But yeah, it definitely was a big relief knowing that the time and effort that I had been putting in really finally kind of got me to the end and into the next stage of my career.
Beautiful. And I love your clarity and your intention because we talked about that yesterday, like how important it is to know your zone of genius and your clarity. And you got so laser focused to like the industry, even. And I want to actually ask before we dig into the strategies of how you landed the job, uh, what made you decide to join Happily Hired Formula as you were like laid off and thinking about a pivot?
Yeah, so I had known about Cultivate and Emily's work for about 6 years when I had been trying to kind of pivot my industry beforehand, and so had followed you along for a long time on LinkedIn and just loved the work that you put out and just how encouraging it is. And I would say I was about 6 months into job searching and finally I was like, I need a community of people that are in the same boat that I am because people that are fully employed, you don't always remember what it's like to be in a full-time job searching space. And so also needed the structure that the Happily Hired formula provided, and then just some tips and tricks because there's always tips and tricks that you can use when you're job searching. And so that was really what I was looking for, and then went through the boot camp process and was able to take advantage of the packages that were offered and super helpful. Kind of was able to get into the content where I knew I needed the most help and where I was good. I'd kind of skip some of those, but I ultimately really just love the community and then the one-on-one or the one-on-one calls that they had, and then also the group coaching calls were really, really beneficial.
Awesome. Okay, I had no idea what you were going to say. I had no idea you've been following for 6 years, but that's incredible. And yeah, it's so interesting because a lot of people, they never say like, I need job searching support immediately. It's usually like, let me try this on my own and then let's figure it out. So what was happening to you 6 months in that you were like, okay, something's got to change? or what was not happening, I guess.
Well, what was not happening is I didn't have a job yet. So, but partly it was I'd come from the talent and HR world, so I knew I was up to speed on what was relevant and what was needed, and had a good resume, and had a pretty good LinkedIn profile. So had some of those kind of basic foundational pieces you needed. But for me, I really just needed some of that final finessing, the encouragement, and then the community that Happily Hired provided. Because for me, it's lonely. Job searching, I think, can be very lonely, depending on especially what prompted you into that season. And I even just the structure that I'm like, oh, okay, I can go in and I can do a lesson, I can apply it. It helped me balance my day out a little bit better. And I was doing what I knew I was doing what I needed to do. I was doing a ton of networking. I was having a lot of conversations, doing a lot of reach outs, and having great conversations. It just, it was one of those timing things that hadn't quite gotten over to the finish line yet. So happily hired just really helped me stay encouraged and stay focused to really keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I think that's so big when we're working towards a big goal and there's not a clear light at the end of the tunnel. And then it's also like sometimes I just don't want to be alone in this process. And it could be kind of unmotivating or discouraging to like not have others know what you're going through. So that's really beautiful. Can I ask, how did you ultimately land this job?
Yeah, so this one was definitely the result of a networking conversation. And just a little bit of context. So I was basically job searching from January 2023. Actually ended up in a different role in the middle of September. So that was kind of the end of my 8.5 months of unemployment. And that was with a different nonprofit than where I am now. But the position that I ended up, so it was a little bit of a jump. I went from was there for about 3 months, and then this opportunity came forward. And this was the position that I'm in now is exactly what I was aiming for. It was with an organization that is stellar, and doing great work across actually the US. They have a national footprint. But it was with a team that really provided some of the values and cultural aspects that I was aiming for. But basically I had reached out, the organization came on my radar through a conference that I had done in the spring, and had seen that actually an old professor of mine from my MBA program was involved with the organization. So I'd reached out to him and said, hey, would love to know more. I see that you're involved. And he said, 2 thumbs up, best organization I've consulted with before. Use my name. You can reach out to the CEO. You should totally meet with him. And so I did. I just it was an email reached out to the CEO. So that was April 2023. And he was like, yeah, let's grab coffee. And so basically it was an hour conversation. He didn't ever see my resume or anything. It just was a connect, and loved just what he talked and how he spoke about the organization, just his leadership style. And I think I conveyed what I was excited about, what I was looking to do, and kind of what my experience was. And he had said at that point, he said, I wish we had an opportunity. He would totally hire you, but they didn't. And so, that was that conversation. I kept moving forward, and I know you're supposed to keep up with your networks, which I am really terrible at, and I did not do, but he actually reached back out in November of last year and said, hey, would love to connect. Didn't say anything about a job, but I was like, oh yes, definitely want to connect with him again, because he was such a great person to meet. And then when we had coffee again, basically was like, hey, we had some transition. This is the job opportunity. Would love to consider you. You have great experience, want to bring you on. Are you interested? Because I know you just took another job. And I said, yes, definitely interested. This is really ultimately where I'd love to land. So it was a networking conversation solidly. And it just was one of those things where it was a timing piece that had to land at a different point in time than when the conversation happened initially.
Yeah, what a beautiful. I was just talking about how luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and what a beautiful way for you to plant seeds. And again, we can nurture them. You didn't even have to nurture it, it just came and sprouting.
That's unusual. Yeah.
Amazing, because oftentimes, like a lot of people think that the only way to job search is to have like a strong connection with somebody that's already there, or to apply and hope that my resume gets picked out. But I love that you had this conversation and you didn't even present your resume. They didn't even know.
Mhm.
And yet you kind of opened up a role for yourself when the timing was right. So that's so beautiful. And also, I want to just acknowledge you for taking the best opportunity in front of you today. And I want to like the job seekers here right now to hear that, because I feel like there's a lot of guilt about, well, I took this job. Should I, like, do I have to see it out for a year? But no, you take the best opportunity for you today. And so, did you have any like guilt when you quit, or was it like, nope, this is my dream job, I'm going for it?
No, it wasn't easy. I definitely have a loyalty streak to me, and I'm a committer. If I say I'm going to do something, I want to commit to it. And the position that I had taken in September was a great role. It had a ton of scope, opportunity that I hadn't had before, and great learning experience, and had some relationships with that organization. But it was a little bit of a sidestep of what I was ultimately aiming for. And once I landed, I realized some of the work environment wasn't quite what I was anticipating. And so was really thankful. I did have my one-on-one coaching time with Emily in that space. And just, she was able to help me really realize, no, it's okay to be able to take another opportunity, even though this is such a short time. And it actually worked out really well. It went a lot better than I was anticipating, because I was at my 90-day kind of introductory period. And so it ended up being a really natural conversation just to say, hey, I have another opportunity that I can't say no to, because it's really in my sweet spot. And it actually went really well. So I, kind of had some initial like, oh, what do I do? I'm investing already. I'm, excited about being here, but I really believe this next opportunity was it. And I started last week, so I've been there a week. So I'm in the, very much the honeymoon stage of the new job, but I am just so grateful, because it's definitely where I'm meant to be at this next season. So very thankful.
You're definitely a lot more lit up than on our one-on-one call. Yeah.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah, nobody's gonna ever fault you for putting your needs first. And of course they're gonna be upset, but it's truly like when you zoom out a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, like that's just gonna be a little blip that you're gonna be like, what 30, 90-day stint? You don't even think about it. So talk to me about the tangible results you got at the end of this program, like anything that you feel you walked away with.
Sure. Yes, I think the LinkedIn group that you get access to when you buy the full program was great. Like I said, I loved the group coaching calls that we had, because that was, there was that community piece that I was looking for. But whenever the coach would go through the different aspects, whether it was LinkedIn or resume or networking, or even just some of the more like self-reflection opportunities, I was picking up something new. And then just having access to the content for, I think we get that for life, if I don't want to misspeak, but being able to get into the program itself and go back and refer to things is great. And I was back in there when I had my offer letter, and I was going back through, okay, what am I negotiating on, and how am I using that? So, because, if you're not in a job searching mode, you don't always think about that stuff. And so it's just nice to be able to have access to that. And that's very tangible for me. And then just some of the exercises that you had to do through the different modules. I'm a printer person, so I have them printed and took notes. So that was really helpful.
I love that. And I'm so curious because I know you came from supervisor of talent or HR. And I have so many recruiters that join this program. And they're like, it's different, but like what was it for you that was like, even though I see this hiring all the time, like I need this professional support?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think because it's just you and your team just have different perspectives. Having other people's eyes on your own work is really helpful, because it just can have people look at things differently, just like you were saying a little bit ago. And I partnered with recruiters. I was working with recruiters consistently, and so I know what to look for when I'm looking at a resume. And but is my resume and is my LinkedIn profile, are they aligned, and are they truly communicating what I am aiming for? And just the suggestions that I got from the program were like, no, I can tweak this a little bit more. No, I can simplify this a little bit more. I can clean it up. I think, we can edit forever. I mean, you can edit stuff forever. And so I think it's just that kind of getting you over that final hurdle. Or if you have, if you're really at the front end of your job search, just giving you the tools right off the bat, so you're not spinning your wheels for a while, I think is really useful and really beneficial.
Awesome. Okay, my last question for you is what advice do you want to share with our job seekers who might be feeling discouraged about the job market?
Yeah, I just would say stay the course. It is very hard and it is tough. I know it is. And I mean right now the market is just it's just nuts, even though we've got good reports and good job, data that's coming out. But I just would say stay the course. This is not the first season I've been in a full-on job search mode. And it took a while the last time I did, partly because I keep pivoting things because I love learning and I love new spaces. So that's my own career trajectory. But the purses for his piece is hard. And I would just say, keep a good schedule, keep yourself on a calendar, like the more structured that you can make it so that you can carve out times where you're like, okay, my job of job searching is done for the day. I'm going to go do something fun. I did a clay class for 6 weeks. I did a plant class. I went and did things with my family. I did a bunch of just stuff that I wouldn't normally have had time to do. And it's not, you can't fully disengage. I mean, your mind is always thinking, "Ah, I gotta be doing this. I gotta be doing this. I gotta do my job stuff." But take the opportunity if you have it. I know people don't always, and sometimes your season is short, but if you do have the time to be able to take some time to play, that helps balance it out and not make it so overwhelming because it gets overwhelming really fast. So, and find a community. I would just say, it is very isolating. I know it is, and I'm an introvert, so but you need people around you just to help provide encouragement and support, and especially if you're trying to change jobs or change industries and move into something a little bit different. So just stay the course. It'll get there. It'll come.
Yeah, I love that advice. And I'm really big on nervous system regulation. Like we're all walking around kind of dysregulated. And when you're job searching, the rejections, the things but no things emails, the ghosting, like all of that is so stressful and it's triggering. So what you're sharing here, like we can't job search 40 hours a week, but we can allow ourselves to what I like to say is like regulate ourselves with activities and hobbies and things that bring us joy so that when those inevitable rejections come in, we're not like, I suck, can't do
Right.
it.
Exactly.
This
Yes.
is my this is my future or my final destination. So really important and so wise. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for your time, your energy, your wisdom. We just say thank you to Jennifer for sharing your journey with us and giving us the possibility of what is possible to make a pivot, to be intentional. That's what I love most about your story is how intentional you were. And how amazing that something you're doing, you don't think it's working or it's doing anything, but it's truly a seed that's been planted and can sprout. So I love your story. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm Lily, and good luck to all of you. I hope it goes well. Thank you.
Awesome, Jennifer. Thank you. I don't know how to take you off. Here we go. Okay. Awesome. Yay. Big round of applause for Jennifer. Um, okay, so what I want to share, we're going to get into the spin the wheel, but first I want to ask you guys, what is your guys' takeaway from Jennifer? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to read a few of them for our YouTube replays because I know that you can't see the chat. Network, 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 says Desiree. Keep going, says David. Beautiful. Stay open. Yes, Stephanie. Structured approach, says Ivan. Stay positive and try different things, says Beverly. Ooh, you guys will love the masterclass tomorrow. I'm going to go over 9 ways to job search. Put yourself out there. Yeah. She really just went to the conferences, the rooms that her people were in, and confidently asked. It never hurts to ask. And I think it really helps when you know, like you're putting your best foot forward, you have all your stuff ready to go. You're more excited to put yourself out there, right? Okay, so what I want to ask is we're going to switch gears to LinkedIn really quick. How many of you guys currently have, type in a 1 into the chat if your current headline on LinkedIn is your default, like your current title at current company. Like you haven't updated that part of your headline before. Okay. Oh, lots of ones coming through. Okay, we're going to change that because If you're here right now, that is not what you want to be known for, right? You're wanting to make a change. So you need to control your narrative. Let me just illustrate this. My client, Danielle, was an IT client services manager. That was her title at PwC. And she no longer wanted to do that anymore. For 9 months, she was job searching because she really wanted to move into tech and she wanted to be a project manager. So, with that clarity in mind, we rehauled her LinkedIn so that it was less focused on IT and more focused on project management. Because again, when you know what the employer wants, you get to mine for the gold and highlight only what matters to your ideal audience. Okay. So she didn't have a PMP certificate, but what she did have were transferable skills and experience. Like she put together large scale events. She drove implementation projects from start to finish. So we were able to craft a strong narrative that she was able to connect her past background to towards where she was going. And she could distill it in a concise way that positioned it as an advantage versus a disadvantage. So, another way said, because she had X skills, it made her a better insert title. Because she had X skills, it made her a better project manager. So, that's what I want each of you to be able to mine for. What is in your background that is helpful or advantageous to your dream employer? It could be a technical or soft skill, a knowledge area, an experience, a core essence that you hold, but you need to be able to own it and illustrate it by highlighting what you mean. So here's an example. I'm a better career coach because of my recruiting background, right? I know the psychology behind why hiring managers hire candidates over others. I have seen what candidates do to beat out more qualified candidates. I'm going to be sharing all of this with you in tomorrow's masterclass, by the way. So I'm a better X because what is it of your background? So I'm going to share within a month, when Danielle updated her LinkedIn profile, a recruiter found her and asked, "Are you interested in a senior project manager role at Turo?" So she got the senior project manager job. Again, never had that title before. And it was at a tech company because she knew how to align herself to be found. And LinkedIn is so important because every day recruiters are searching for people like you on LinkedIn. Not only did she get the offer, but she also got $30,000 more in her comp package than her previous job. So again, just getting clarity on why you're a better candidate and what you bring and being able to highlight it is going to help you land that job, because so many people are focused on what they're lacking, what they don't have enough of. Oh my God, all these qualifications and preferred qualifications. I don't have this. But remember, we're marketing ourselves like Lionel is marketing a house. We want to focus on the advantage. Type in bringing it if you get what I'm saying here. Okay, blow up this chat. Awesome, Jacob. Yes. So first impressions matter. Is your LinkedIn the narrative that you want? So let me share today's growth assignment and I'll break it down for you. And then we're going to spin the wheel. So this comes from our Happily Hired formula. And what I want to make sure each of your titles are, your headlines are this either target title or target function or core essence, a power verb. If you know who you're supporting, great, get clear on it. If you don't care, you're industry agnostic, you don't care like what size organization, great, say organizations. And most importantly, what is that big result or outcome or deliverable that they're looking for? Okay, so just to give you some examples of what this can sound like, hi, I'm Emily. I'm a career coach and a life coach that coaches job seekers to land their dream jobs faster. Again, super clear. You know what the result is that I bring to the table. Maybe you're a project manager leading Fortune 500 companies to get their products to customers on time, right? Clear title, if you know what you want to hone in on, what you're doing, power verb, take out supporting, take out assisting, take out coordinating, supporting, assisting, coordinating, helping out of your vocabulary. We're gonna get really clear on what your power verb is. Digital marketing manager, generating 10x revenue through creative ads for B2B orgs. A relationship builder, winning national client contracts through consultative sales. So you can see how this is much more strong than current title at current company, especially when you're wanting to leave. So take a screenshot of this. Let me unhighlight this. And this is going to be your growth assignment tonight. I want you to really take a moment and just brainstorm. We're not aiming for perfection here. It's okay. I just want you to start thinking about it. You know, what is it that I'm really targeting? What do I do? What is my zone of genius, so to speak? Who do I do this for, if that's important to you? May not be. Some of you guys don't care what company, what industry. You just want to focus on what you do and the role. And then most importantly, what is that big result, outcome, or deliverable that you bring to the table? Okay, so take a screenshot. I'm going to stop sharing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Let me just check in with you guys to see how you're doing. Okay. Awesome. If you can't see it, check out the replay. It's there. Or I'll post it in the Facebook group after. Okay, so Lauren, is this deliverable what we bring from our current experience, but use the title we're looking to pivot into? Again, we need to figure out where are we going and what's important to the employer. What do they care about as the result or the deliverable? And if you can't answer that because you don't have the past experience, you're mining for what is important to them that I've done in the past that I can connect to. So we're not lying here, we're not exaggerating, we're not embellishing, we're just focusing on what do they care about and how do I align myself to that based on my previous experiences. This is a lot of mining for the gold, so to speak. Transferable skills, they are there if we look close enough and we take the time to really brainstorm them out. So Desiree, how do I not feel like a fraud when writing the headline? I always struggle as I don't have concrete experience. So juicy. Let's bring this to the AMA on Thursday. I love that question, and we can get that in there. Okay, beautiful. And other people are resonating with that. So let me know in the chat what your biggest takeaway is today. And tomorrow, tune in because we are doing our masterclass on how to stand out and get visible, how to land dream offers. I'm going to walk through the entire Happily Hired framework, and I am so excited. So as you guys type in your takeaways, I'm going to spin the wheel. My lovely team is going to tell me who is deserving. I mean, everyone is deserving, but who they feel can get one of these prizes on this wheel today. Okay, so you guys let me know the takeaways while I spin. And what will it be? Oh my gosh, it is Instacart again. Hold on, let's redo this. We've done that before yesterday. $25 gift card to Starbucks. Yay! So let me see who shall receive this. Let me know in the chat. Love me some coffee. What's your guys' orders? Let me know. Let me see. Okay, Sarah Baker. My teammate July says she loves how she's so open and answering people's questions and generous in giving tips and really connecting with people. Yay, Sarah. Congratulations. And I'm just going to read off 3 big takeaways from today. for all of our team replay people. So Lauren says alignment with what the hiring manager wants with your transferable skills. Yes. Let's see here. Brianna, update my LinkedIn headline. Yes. Stella, focus on what employer wants and get career clarity beforehand. Narrow in on what they want and align yourself to that. Boom. Amani, my biggest takeaway is that content is more important than the design on a resume. Yeah. If you have both, that's even more beautiful. So again, everything's about how you're making the other person feel. And if it's beautiful and aesthetic, wonderful. But the context is really the most important. And don't get hung up on all the things that you're seeing about what not to do with an ATS or what to do. All of that is just noise. Context is king. Beautiful, Asako. I love it. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for all your energy. I will see you tomorrow for day 3. It's going to be our masterclass. We're going to break it all down. We're going to go through the 7 C's of how to get happily hired, along with just understanding the core components of networking, actually all the stages of job searching. I can't wait to share that with you in a jam-packed 60 minutes. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Bye, Luther. Bye, Evs. Awesome. Okay.